Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first committee of the whole meeting of 2025. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a good holiday. We do have one amendment to the agenda, and that is the payables amount. There was just something removed that will get put on the payable for next meeting, which was the insurance. So the new amount. Sorry. So the actual amount that we're going to be approving tonight will be $314,321.52. So if I can please have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Paquette and Councillor Sliger. Any comments or questions about that? No. All in favor? Okay, so that passes. So next up we have the minutes from the regular council meeting from December 17th.
Sorry, Your Worship, I forgot to mention that Jordan Stackhouse is going to be delayed. He can't log on until 6:30, so can we move him to the last thing on the agenda?
Sure, so we'll also just move him to the bottom. Okay. Okay, so a motion to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting from December 17th.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. I will do Councillor Sliger this time and seconded by Councillor Paquette. Any comments, questions about the minutes? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Are you in favor? Okay, sure. Perfect, so that passes. And next up we have the open payables in the amount of $314,321.52. A motion, please.
I'll make a motion to pay the open payable.
Thank you, Councillor Paquette.
And
Second. And Councillor Paquette, second.
Your Worship, just for clarity, because I know there's questions going to come up on this.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch that are listed as canceled. So what happened during the mail strike, we were dealing with our pay system and trying to switch over to electronic payments, but there was a glitch in between our computer system and our banking system, and it wouldn't accept the electronic payables once we have it processed. So all of them had to be canceled, and you will see that the same names are actually listed farther down in the document in check form.
Thank you for that clarification. So are there any other questions about the tables that are remaining after those?
Insurance is all the other ones, right? So,
Yeah, so insurance will be on the, at the next meeting.
yeah, there wasn't too many big ones on here, which was kind of.
I have one, so there's a larger payment here for 62902. Which is the bidding charge.
62902 to Finning, yes, that is maintenance work on the backup generator at the water treatment plant.
Okay, thank you. And then the other one for me is 62922.
629.
Northern Avcom.
Northern Avcom is radio supplies for the fire department.
We already got funding for that, right?
That was
Yeah.
that funding approval for
Yeah.
the portable radios for the full fire department. Did you?
So that was in and then we get reimbursed for that, so that's in and out, so that's cool.
Mike, can I ask you please about the one right beneath that?
Progressive Ventures.
Yeah.
That is work that was completed, that was requested by infrastructure development branch at the municipal services building. As you know, we've got trouble with the front concrete aprons that have been heaving up and down. So Progressive Ventures was hired to do saw cuts to try and eliminate that movement, and that money has been reimbursed to us through Yukon government.
Okay, thank you. That was the next question. Sorry, does anybody else have?
Yeah, I just noticed, I don't know if I just noticed it now, or maybe, I know it's so, but I'm curious of looking, are we paying Archangel Fireworks twice? Cause
I
I'm kind
have
of
seen that
swore,
number as well.
we had them on, well, like most recently, because we were commenting about how that was obviously the fireworks that we were paying. And that was the comment at the last time we looked at this, and it to show up again. So that's what I'm asking, do we pay them twice?
So your worship, I will look into that and get back to you at next week's meeting,
Thank
just
you.
for confirmation, but I believe it's only the months, so. But I will confirm.
You can call Thomas?
It was, check number 62860, I'm looking through the past council meetings right now to look and see if I can find the other payables. Cause I could have swore that
Yeah.
it came up before and the response was, that's obviously the fireworks, because it was a big ticket item. That's the only reason I remember it. Because there was a comment on it back then, unless I'm having deja vu. Anyway, we'll look into it.
Yes.
Thank you.
we'll
Did
get
you have
back
any
to
other questions though about today's payables? Did you have anything for
That's right.
or? That's okay.
No.
Okay.
You asked, oh, my lord, thank you.
Okay.
you.
Did you have any questions, Councilor Wood? Okay. So if there are no more questions, I will ask all in favor. Passing the payables. Okay, that passes, thank you. So next up, we have the RCMP here tonight, the delegation. Thank you so much for coming. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Nice to see all the new counselors and returning ones and new mayor.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
So, sorry, we passed it on you last time. We were just down to the counselors that day and we wanted you to come in and kind of meet everybody at, once, so we have 2 new people. So, did you have anything specific that you wanted to mention? Because I was just hoping that you would give us an update on.
Sure. So, we have another member coming in February. It'll be the first time for quite some time that we'll actually have a full complement here in the detachment. It's actually been quite some time. You know, we talked about last year about hard and soft vacancies. We'll have one soft vacancy till middle of April, and then everybody is on the road there. So I think it's the last time in, I think almost 6 years, we've had a full-time members on the road here for Watson Lake. So that'll be a nice change to see that happen.
Nice to you guys too.
Yeah, it'll give people much needed breaks to get recharged and get back out there and fighting crime and being in the community and being out there. So we have that to look forward to in the next couple months. Now we're going into 2025. We're kind of coming end of that fiscal year from last year and our priorities that we had set for the community. And those community the priorities were the lack of respect and trust within the RCMP. So that was building that relationship within the community with all our partners. Substance abuse, which is drug, and then crime, drug and crime reduction. So those were our priorities last year. So as we're coming into April 1st, the discussion around what you would like to start seeing for priorities for this year. I know we talked about in the past about keeping to 3 manageable ones, so we can concentrate on those 3 ones. The year previous was relationship, traffic, and drugs. So those are the 3 that we had the previous year. So those we're at that. And then we should have the new mayor reports. We're changing up on how we're reporting, so you can actually see a little more graphs on call volumes, when the calls are coming in, as well as what type of calls, and kind of more breaking down, easier to read than just having all those numbers that we had on the previous one. So we've been working on that last few months for yourselves there.
Awesome.
So I don't know if anybody had any suggestions or any ideas that they would want to propose for priorities.
So obviously the, drugs and crime activity in town is like a major one, I think, for everybody here at this table. We would love to see, I mean, you guys have been obviously attacking that. Yeah, I guess I was just hoping today if we could get kind of an update on things regarding community safety,
I just want to comment, Major Jim.
sorry.
I think as far as the community building, the local detachment here has been doing a fabulous job. Reaching out, making partnerships with the school, particularly in the grad hunt in particular. Coaching hockey, minor hockey would not exist in this town right now. If it wasn't for the members of the RCMP, and they deserve like a round of applause for that. There has been other things that have been mentioned in the monthly reports, which I've really appreciated the anecdotal comments at the very bottom, and I can view a more personalized account rather than just a spreadsheet with this many arrests and this many complaints and this many calls and the stamp, it gives it a little bit of, descriptive vividness. And so thank you for that. There's other things in there that I'm forgetting to mention. I'm quite sure there's other things that people are involved in that they partake in that a lot of us in the state probably don't even know about. That happens on a daily basis that, good job. Really good job.
I wanna add to what Thomas went through and that too, so, yeah.
Yeah, we
You
have,
guys are building relationships with the town, and that's certainly, those relationships. Kids, they take it home, right? And I think that's really important, so thank you for that.
and I mean, like, we have a really good crew, and that was like the one thing that we all echoed when I first came into the seat was, getting the right crew, the right people here in the community and to be involved. And I truly do believe that the people that we have here are for the right purposes and are trying their best to do whatever they can to improve the relationship, but also help out the community with fighting these issues that we're having. Swinging back to like the kind of drug activity, the two main drug dealers that we're dealing with over the summer that were creating quite a lot of charges. One still has a no vote to Watson Lake. We're monitoring that, and where the new location, the new detachment is actually concentrated on them now on that side of it. The other person still remains in custody on the other charges, and that was during the summer when we had, I think we were up to about 29 charges before they were finally held in custody, and that was the constant arrest, get released by the JP, rearrest, release from JP, and we keep going, do that dance. So he's been held in custody until to his next appearance, which I think is in a couple more months. So we'll find out what takes place in those. Drug seizures have been up. I mean, we had that recent drug seizure there in December, which is a good amount. Prior to that, we had some few minor ones. Our drug files altogether has increased by about 25% from the previous year. A lot of that is from information coming forward from the community. Without that information, it's hard for us to know what's taking place. When that information comes in, we can act. Because of course, drug dealers are not going to tell us when they're removing product or when they have it or when they're selling. So we really rely on that information come out from the community. We appreciate that.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yep.
but so when you say you can ask, so anybody can come up and give you information and regardless of where they've heard it, or if it's just a rumor, you're going to act on it?
So it's not just if it's word, rumor, third hand, fourth hand,
Right.
we can't just act on that specific information, but it might add a little piece to what we're working on over here.
Cause I know we're a small town.
Yeah.
And so many of us know where this stuff is coming from and who's dealing it and who's involved and.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I mean, the biggest information we can use, because at the end of the day, like when we look at search warrants to enter someone's premises, we have to have the grounds. We have to explain those grounds to the judge.
Right,
And when a judge looks at a search warrant, if it's a person who's heard it through 4 people,
right.
it's not as strong
I
as someone who's like, no, I saw the drugs at this house. So that information is more important. Not dismissing what this person said, because that person might say, I know Johnny is selling drugs from his house. Okay, well, we weren't aware that Johnny was selling drugs, but now we do.
Mhm.
So now we can start focusing to see what else activity is supporting that.
Right.
So every little bit of information that comes in, we can add to it. We can create files and we can keep tabs on what's taking place, and we can have those profiles built. So it does help the detachment. I'm not too sure if that answers your question or.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Another question I had was, highway check stops. Do you have any of those planned coming up, or, because they must have sometimes some ways in locating drugs that are coming into town, and we're not just pulling over people checking for alcohol, right?
So the legal method that we have with check stops looking for drugs is that we're conducting the traffic stop under the Motor Vehicle Act, and that's the authority to conduct that. We're checking for driver license, sobriety,
Right.
and registration insurance. That's the reason behind the check stop. Once we act outside of that, we have to have those grounds to be able to act down that road of the drug investigation. So we have to be able to articulate how we go from a traffic stop to a drug investigation. I'm not saying that it doesn't work all the time, right? It can work, and you can get very lucky with that. Generally speaking, usually when we're doing checks, you'll find impaired drivers way faster than you'll find drugs there. And then it ends up taking that concentration away from there.
Right.
The previous year, traffic safety was one of our priorities. And so we're doing check stops during that, and we're doing impaired. And so our impaired investigations went up and charges went up over that. This year it was focused on drugs, so we dropped the check stops and we're doing more of a roaming stuff and more targeted traffic stops and going, okay, so this person involved with this, we know that they're running this, you know, checking driver license, checking this, and then we're moving from there. So. But yeah, we can definitely look at doing check stops if it's one of the priorities that we wanted to do, especially the traffic safety side of
Do
it.
you have any plan? I'm not asking for dates or times or anything, but.
From where?
Next week, no. Generally speaking, we, especially with the resources we're gonna have in this next year, we're gonna have the capability of doing a lot more of that. Summer months are a lot better because weather's a lot nicer. Winter time's a little more difficult. You'll find, especially being here now I've been here 2 years. You can see the traffic volume die down.
Right.
So being strategic of more of those check stops are,
Make it worth the.
Yeah.
effort and the- Yeah, for sure.
Just more patrolling after midnight.
Okay.
Like, the nightlife is still the same. It is, I drive, well, you never know when you're gonna see them, put it that way, but I'm hauling logs through town when everybody else is in bed sleeping. And the vehicles that you see driving around, you know exactly. And I'm saying that like just in the last 2 weeks. I don't know how many vehicles I see at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning driving around, and they've got really absolutely no reason to be driving around unless they're into,
Up to the bed.
yes. But then we got younger teenagers, younger youth out and about as well. We see them walking around, we see them walking up and down the streets.
Yeah.
And then we just lost another one here recently, which is terrible. Nobody can say what it was or what it is or not, but it's still with a young lady of our community that we're gonna bury, and it seems like it's an ongoing thing here.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, other than getting out and doing more patrolling in wee hours of the morning. Let them know that you're out, and maybe that'll keep them more, so they don't feel like they're free at night. They can, after midnight or 1 in the morning, they can drive around and do as they please, because either they're intoxicated or they're on drugs and they're driving around at 4 o'clock. I mean, we all got it.
Yeah. And I think with our increase of our staffing levels will help increase that, because a lot of times, you know, where we're running skeleton crew, 1 on days, 1 on nights, it's hard to juggle two birds with one stone.
No, I agree, but that's when you see them, and that's when I see them, because I'm hauling logs through the middle of town and say, what the hell's he doing, bro? What the hell's she doing?
Yeah.
Well, just because I'm out there and I see it, and if you're out there, you're gonna see it as well.
Yeah. So what I might propose is, so we've been doing like weekly stats patrols, so we log down how many patrols we do, and it's not like going to calls, it's actually doing drives around.
Right.
We've been keeping tallies of those every single week, and we've been giving those to Whitehorse on our weekly reporting. So I'm gonna propose to include that into our monthly reports.
Yeah.
That way you can see how many patrols we're actually getting out there, and they've been marked down to like 1 patrol would equal 15 minutes of driving around.
Right.
And that should be cumbersome of like 2 mile and town and up the yard, that should give us enough time.
Especially in the summer months, then we're gonna get the kids rolling around on quads and side by sides, and I mean, when we were young, we knew better. We got off the bike, we pushed it across the road, then we jumped on it and we went down the trail,
We
right?
knew that was the rule, but nobody was around, we just drove.
We knew it was a rule, but we knew they were around because they were around, believe me. I got pulled over sometimes 4 times in the night, come on. It was back in the 90s, there was no pissing around, not like today.
Yeah,
I mean, patrolling makes a big difference to the kids being, you know, rather than, oh, I can go and do what I want, except now we're looking over the shoulder, maybe slow them down a little bit. It might say somebody's life at the end of something.
and even like with the kids getting involved, like we look at the crime, we had a rash of smashed windows at the school.
Yeah.
The buses leading in September and October. The moment hockey starts up, that stopped.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not saying that the youth were responsible for that, but there is a big coalition with the fact that, you know, activities are taking place, people are being bored, and they're getting out there, and that's where, like, we're trying to be involved and trying to get that going. And making sure that we're getting out there and doing activities with youth, because it starts with our youth and our kids, they're the next generation.
And I was gonna say, what about culture?
From the bottom of our heart, we do, we appreciate what we do with our kids and stuff like that.
And what about making appearances at the high school, even the elementary school? Have you done that, or is it something you've considered? Just to go in and like actually go into the classrooms and talk to the kids and say we are gonna be out and about and we are looking out for and, you know. I
Yes.
mean,
So a couple of our guys have been doing school presentations, and they've done everything from school, so bullying to cyber activity.
That's good.
I couldn't name all of them off my head because I'm not the one personally doing it. Quite actively involved in doing that. And so that's one, I know that was one thing that was brought, for sure got here, and that's one thing that we definitely worked on, getting that, getting into the schools and getting those presentations.
Yeah, my kids have certainly benefited from that, from, you know, seeing people in schools, to elementary school and high school. Yeah, for sure, you guys have always gone, which is really nice.
I don't have any kids in schools. So.
Yeah, that's, I know, I wasn't sure, but I'm just letting you know, yeah, they've been doing it for quite a while, Norma, which is really nice. Yeah, it's good school, so it's great, yeah.
So is this the only chance that we'll get to provide the feedback on the priorities for coming year?
No,
Okay,
that's why I'm gonna start, that's why I want to start it now.
okay,
So that come April first, we already have an idea what we have, and we already got the game plan, so April first is, and we just switch those priorities and we get going.
okay, awesome.
I'm gonna be talking to Elephant and North Coast at the same time to see what theirs, and then we kind of come to a collective agreement. So that's the way we try to do it, and we make sure that everyone's consulted on it, because I don't think it's just one person's decision, and it's not just the detachment, we're part of the community, it's community's priorities. We're all working together.
I think we're generally all in alignment usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nice, yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's ever been, when I brought it up, it's never been an argument with anybody, it's like, no, that's a great idea, let's do that.
Awesome,
Yeah.
well, does anyone have any further comments? Okay, well, thank you all for making those comments, and thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk to us, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Okay, so next we are skipping over, elevator econ just, for now, and that's over to CAO for CAO report.
Thank you, your worship. My apologies that there isn't a written report, this month. But, coming off of the Christmas break and then we've been full bore into budget, as you know. So the budget prep's really been, front and center for the O&M budget and for the capital budget. And, trying to get creative on funding, to support what you're gonna hear about in the budget stuff tonight. And, the other big thing that we've been working on is our emergency preparedness plan for the community. So we've contracted a company out of Alberta that's working on a total rewrite of our emergency plan, including evacuation plans and consultation with all our partners and everything. And they're working to have our plan speak on the same terms and work together with the David Dennis plan and the other First Nation. And the other thing that it's gonna do is that they're actually coming up to do training for everybody in their roles. In our emergency plan, everybody has a role. And so they're gonna come up and actually do the training for everybody's role plus their alternates. Because it's great to have somebody's name listed beside a responsibility they're supposed to do, but if they have no idea what it is, then things are going sideways, it's not the time to be learning. So this is a table, it'll end up, final thing on it will be a tabletop exercise with simulation of a disaster and let everybody work their way through the roles. So that's the biggest thing that we've been doing. We've had some staffing changes. So as of yesterday, we have a new rec programmer, and it's Austria Lopez is our new rec programmer at the rec center. We ran a competition, Austria was a selected candidate. So of course, that causes sort of the domino effect because her position is now will be vacant and then we have to staff and do all that stuff. So
Under our union, rules, we have to offer it in-house first, don't we?
exactly, yeah. So there's a process that goes through. So, so Austria's position will probably be posted shortly. And then we'll be, seeing how the, for lack of better terms, musical chairs works out, right? But it's based on qualifications and everything, but, there is staff that want to advance, so we'll see how that goes. So that's, exciting. Rec Center has been really busy. Lots of skating and events going on. Curling started last week. We'll drop in tomorrow night again, and then league play is gonna start, I believe, on Fridays. Or
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays league play, Fridays, sorry, I got them backwards. So they're looking for encouraging, there's a new nonprofit society that's been formed to run curling, so which is nice. It's not on recreation, our staff to be running it, which is huge. And it's, the new nonprofit society is actually doing indoor curling plus the outdoor wants to, so it's the same group and hopefully it'll bring more numbers into curling and see where we go from there, but it's very exciting to see a new nonprofit actually start. We've been very, very much lacking. So yeah, other than that, budget prep, as you know, we had our budget prep meetings and to bring everybody up to speed. And then the town hall meeting is next week on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. at the rec center. Tuesday at 4 p.m. It was originally 6, but it was changed today. Wildland Fire and Yukon government are doing the presentation on the community wildfire protection plan.
Sorry, Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday.
Wednesday, January
22nd is the wildland community wildland fire protection plan. Event is at the rec center. They're actually serving food and have prizes to try and get people out. It's huge because all that input affects us for Fire Smart and everything, right? So the more people that can attend, the better it would be for our community. And Tuesday night, we have another council meeting. We're back to back. So Tuesday night council, Wednesday community wildfire protection plan. Thursday is the community town hall, and our topics will be O&M budget, capital budget, housing accelerator update, and the animal control bylaw. So that's where we're at, and that's where I'm gonna leave it tonight, unless there's questions.
I have one question.
Sure.
The emergency preparedness plan, are we getting any money from YG for that?
No, but it was in that funding that we had approved last year.
I know, but there was, I thought the government had money available for emergency.
All our stuff was already approved through the federal government.
Oh, right. And then, no, that's it for me. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, okay, thank you so much for that report. We will move on. So next up, we have the admin report for the, RFP 2024-03, which is for playground equipment upgrades. So the admin report we got, so last year we set aside the money to replace 3 playgrounds in town. An RFP went out and we received a bunch of bids. And then so we did receive an admin report on that. So the purpose of which is to provide background information and tender award recommendations to council for the replacement of playground equipment at 3 park locations within the municipality. So the financial implications are that $500,000 was approved in the 2024 capital budget for playground equipment upgrades. This project is in line with council's strategic plan for improving housing, heritage, beautification, and parks, with park upgrades being identified as a priority area. During the 2024 budget process, Mayor and Council approved $500,000 in the capital budget for playground upgrades. Based on a recent playground inspection report, administration identified 3 playgrounds to be upgraded based on the age and condition of the equipment. Teslin Crescent and the Dennis Law Memorial Pool were chosen for equipment upgrades, and Highland Avenue Park was identified to be decommissioned and moved to Wylake Park based on community feedback and past council discussions. A request for proposals was published, which included site maps and pictures of the current playground sites. The RFP asked for up to 2 designs for each location and for ground surfacing options to be provided. Upon tender closing, 6 bids were received. All bids met the safety, warranty, insurance, and project timeline requirements. All but 1 bid was within budget. And all the budget amount was provided to all the bidders. There were options submitted with rubber tiles and or surfacing, but these options were very expensive and took away from the number of features and or put the submission significantly over budget. A committee comprising of 5 people from the admin and Parks and Rec departments individually scored the bid proposals based on playground design and theme, proposed layout, play features, inclusive features, warranty packages, and company experience and qualifications. Based on scorecards, the playgrounds are ranked from 1 to 6, with number 1 being the most favorable bid. So, number 1 was Play Envy. All committee members chose this bid submission as their number 1 choice. There are a good number of play features appropriate for a wide range of users with good inclusive features, a fun, bright design, and good layout. This bid received the highest score of all areas of the scorecard. Play Envy's bid with EFW wood fiber ground surface material was also the lowest price of all submissions. Play Envy provided 2 options for ground surfacing materials, but the rubber surface was chosen. But if the rubber surface was chosen, the bid would be significantly over budget, so the committee would recommend sticking with the EFW option. So the bid price from Play Envy for the EFW or wood fiber option came in at $441,782. And then the price for the same thing, but with the rubber surfacing, came in at $602,649.53. The second option was Blue Imp. Based on average scores, Blue Imp was the second choice. They provided 2 options for ground surfacing, rubber tile surface material versus EFW or wood fiber. The wood fiber option is what scored higher, as the rubber tile surface is significantly higher in price, which would mean less play features. The play features and inclusive options are decent, but mainly focus on the big toy with limited isolated play features. Blue Imp scored lower on design, theme, and layout, but their bid price with the EFW or wood fiber surfacing came in at $499,938. The third option is PlayQuest. This submission has a little bit of everything, but lacks in the design and was found to be a bit basic, and the play features are better suited for a younger age group. Overall, a decent submission, but not a lot of innovation or new ideas brought forward. So the bid price with the, again, EFW or wood fiber surfacing came in at $499,914.62. The fourth option is GBL Parkcraft. The committee found that this submission was okay, but found the design underwhelming and too traditional with lack of exciting new features. This submission also lost points in the layout as the inclusive features felt very isolated. The bid price for this came in at $488,407.56. Number 5 is Park and Play. This bid was the lowest that was within budget. Committee felt that the lowest scored that was within the budget. The committee felt that there are not a lot of play features and not a great use of space. Not a great bang for our buck. Also felt that the play features geared towards younger children with not a lot of options for older kids. So the bid price was, for this one, is $499,352.64. And then the last bid was Play Systems North. The bid was unfortunately over budget and the play features were somewhat underwhelming. The This option scored the lowest for all but one committee member, mainly due to being over budget. But committee also felt that play features and designs were underwhelming. So the cost for that project is going to be $551,014. So we do have a recommendation from administration as to how to proceed, but maybe we could just like discuss first if anyone has any discussion around that. Would like to start.
I was just curious about maintenance and upkeep and materials and if it's like a long lasting.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they cover in the, did they cover that in the?
In the tender documents, it did state it had to meet warranty and specs and all that stuff, and they were all
Okay.
deemed as compliant.
I was just wondering if there was any of the play equipment from our old play structures that actually would get reused. I wasn't sure if any of it was any good or if any of it met, standards for.
It all meets standards, everything that's currently installed meets standards, it's been fully inspected. But the equipment that we will be removing from those playgrounds, we'll be looking at either selling off, because there's been lots of interest in some of the stuff that we might not use.
Right.
And some of the other equipment that we will look at, reissuing to other playgrounds to bring them up to a more, vibrant standard, I should say.
Do we then install them ourselves or would we?
Yes, they can be, yeah.
Oh, so we can pull them out and install them, cool. Yeah.
And when you're gonna decommission that one over by the elementary school, is that?
Yes, that's correct, because there is a playground already at the elementary school, and then the new one will be in Wiley Park. We've been, from everything we've been told, doing surveys and stuff, that the Highland Park is the least desirable one in town. It's in the shade and it's lots of bugs, and everybody uses the elementary school now, and then with the new Wiley Park, it would be decommissioned.
No, I agree.
And that area was designated for the dog.
I still see lots of kids there, you see them there, it's not like they don't use it, but I mean, no.
So any thoughts on the bids that we received?
I do like the first one, I have to say, I quite enjoyed it.
Us?
Sorry, just one second.
I felt like it had a lot going for it. I'm just like, so when you come with these, trying to figure out what this wood stuff, so it's not like wood chips kind of concept, or is it?
Yeah, it's a wood fiber. It's certified for playgrounds.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like that, I just wasn't.
How long does it last versus rubber?
Well, rubber will last forever, unfortunately, and this, I'm not sure what the life expectancy is, but it's a long time.
It is a long time, we got it, that's it, it's stringed well, they're a long time.
It's wood chip sales, so.
Dries completely.
Okay.
Sorry, so the 441782 Blue Envy, that did or did not include GST?
None of the submissions.
So none of those include GST, reason being that our budget overall is 500, so as long as the project without GST is within that, that's fine, because we actually get all of our GST back. For it, so. Are you done, Counselor?
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
so it's like.
I like the one that the Plan B had, was like $50,000 less than everyone else's. I sometimes wonder whether or not these companies look at how much we've budgeted for various things and then bid just a few $1,000s under each.
Just because I was thinking the same thing.
Your worship, for the record, though,
They were provided.
We provided a budget of 500, we won't, the proposal was, it was a request proposal. What is the most you'll provide us in a playground for this amount of money for 3 playgrounds?
Well, in that case, they, and in the Plan B, they were $50,000 less and they gave more, so.
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with the recommendation as well, just because, we really only have so much money and it just seems like a good value for the amount that we budgeted, so.
So your worship, it'll go over to next week's council meeting for a
Okay,
decision.
so does anyone have any further comments tonight that they'd like to?
There's nothing I can see really like when you look at those, the 3D designs, it still blows my mind. That like playground equipment is as expensive as what it is, like what is that made out of titanium steel? Like, must be bulletproof because for the amount of metal that goes into it, they're really pricey. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like exorbitantly so, like.
But you're not just paying for the equipment, right? You're paying for the
Installation,
shipping.
You just dig a hole, fill it hole. Like it's a post here that you make with some cement and some, you know, like,
But
it
it's,
just seems like a.
yeah, it's all certified and engineered due to
Yeah.
safety
I know,
standards.
it just,
You gotta remember, they gotta dig out the whole area as well.
the fire truck is 300 grand more. Like,
Anyway,
so,
Okay.
yeah,
You tell the kids they can't have.
I know, no, let's say that.
okay, so anyway,
Move on.
take the week to think about it further. We will have this on the next agenda, which is next Tuesday for, a motion. Okay? So, with that, we will move on.
Can I just say one thing before you do? Of course, require the removal of the other stuff, some of the playgrounds that they're actually taking an application to make. So there's, we're not doing anything, of course, it's all that confusion.
So next up, we have an admin report from our finance officer. And this is in regards to the transferring of some funds from, some incoming funds that we have to the environmental reserves and the operational contingency reserves. So the purpose of this is to recommend transferring $250,000 into our existing environmental services reserve fund and $250,000 into our operational contingency reserve fund. So the recommendation is that we make a motion to transfer the funds from our general account to our existing reserve savings account. The amount to be transferred to our existing reserve savings account would be $500,000. We have decided to transfer this amount as we will have a surplus amount in our general bank account once we receive our gas tax claim. And can you just quickly, CAO, tell us how that works?
Yeah, so your worship, over the last year, we made purchases based on approved gas tax, or I should say Canada Community Bill
Building
Fund
funds,
money / gas tax. We made the approved purchases that council had done in our previous capital budgets. And then once we purchased that, the items, then we submit a claim to Yukon government for reimbursement. So we have received actually, since this report came in, we have actually received our reimbursement. So this money is this is excess money that we deem can go into the reserve accounts.
Okay.
And the other money will go back into our general operating account and our savings account.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna read this one last little paragraph and then we can have the floor. So little background on it is that during previous council meetings, mayor and council have expressed the importance of ensuring that we set aside funds into our reserves so that we are funding for future municipal needs. Once we receive our gas tax claim that CAO just mentioned, we will have the surplus funds available in our account to make this transfer. So that's the last of the report, so go ahead.
So, a couple questions, I guess, like I understand that we used our money to pay for something, then we submit a claim, and then now we got the check back, I get that. But it's just too nice of a round number, 250, what are the actual, can we find out the actual numbers, the actual surplus amount?
Oh,
That's what, is it?
the gas tax money that came back?
No, so this is money, this is leftover surplus money from our own end budget that's going back in, because we're not getting gas tax money and then.
Putting in reserves.
Yeah.
Exactly, but what we did is we took, when we looked at the amount that we got back and what we needed to top back up to the operational, the general account, back to a number that we are comfortable through till April. This is the surplus money from what we deem that we need to do operations.
Gotcha, I guess, okay, let me clarify my question.
Because right now in our operating account, we're probably running with close to $900,000 cash in our operating account.
Yeah,
And then savings, I don't have the amount in front of us, but that amount's there, so deemed on what we need to operate, we got 2.5 million back from gas tax. So of that money, $1 million's going into our savings account. And then this 500,000, and then the other million will go into our operating account to get us through till we get our CMG money in April.
Gotcha. I was just curious what I was really curious about was cause we're almost at the end of the year where we've done all of our end of the year counting. And I understand that we're comfortable by putting money here and putting money there, but I was just looking for actuals.
Yeah, well,
When will we have actuals?
the actuals will be in February because the
Okay, that's all.
month end isn't, or the year end doesn't really clear till January.
Okay, thank you for that.
But we are more than comfortable to 50.
I'm fully comfortable with that amount, and based on where projections, there will probably, after the auditors are done in the spring, there will be another, recommendation to probably move more money into reserves.
Anybody have questions on this right now? Okay, so we will, do you want a motion on that now?
No, that'll be in,
Next week?
next week.
Okay, so. All right, so we'll move on. So now we're gonna, table the capital budget and the O and M budget, but we do them separately. We're not gonna discuss this in a lot of detail tonight, just because we are having a town hall meeting about this, next Thursday, and I really wanna save that conversation to have with, people there where they can participate in the conversation as well. And then it will come back to council after that. Right?
Yes, and your worship, and by you doing first reading, then the document becomes public.
Great.
And people can look at it instead of
People can-
second guessing what you're saying today.
Right, so we'll just do first reading for each of the budgets, and then it will be public and folks can have access to that tomorrow. Okay, so first up, we have the capital budget, which is a large number, but, I'll tell you the amount. It's $37,960,000, or sorry, $960 and $900. I said that wrong, I'm sure of it. But anyway, a lot of that is contingent on funding, so if we don't get certain funding, a couple of those big things are not gonna happen, but, so I guess just right now, we need first reading for,
Make a motion to do the first reading of the capital budget for the town, it's like 2025 to 2027. Being a 3-year capital budget in the various amounts listed.
thank you. Second,
Second that.
Councilor McDowell, second, okay, and, all in favor? So that passes, so that'll be available for public viewing tomorrow, and then we will discuss it at the town hall meeting in great detail. Next up, we have first reading of the O and M budget, which is bylaw 2025-02. We are tabling today a balanced O and M budget of $6,392,520. May I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll make a motion to the first reading of the O and M budget.
The amounts on this last page.
Yeah. $6,392,520.
Thank you, seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilor Kenda. Any comments on that at this time? Seeing none, I'll ask all in favor. So that passes. So now both of these budgets are available for the public. They'll be on the website, or you can come in and view them at the town office as well. Starting tomorrow. So next up, we have I wasn't asked earlier, the outstanding property taxes for 2024. Would you like us to do this today? Just acknowledge it's.
Your worship, no, it actually has to be, accepted as the TBL one. We have set deadlines under the.
Is that tonight or next week?
That's a very good question.
So by law, we have to, basically publish this list of people that are, in arrears, exactly.
It could, if, I would prefer if you could make the motion tonight, your worship.
Sure.
And then if there's some that, if some come forward and pay before the publication deadline, then they'll be removed before it goes in the paper.
Okay, so a motion to accept the TBL1 tax lien summary.
I'll make a motion to accept the Form TL1 taxonomy summary.
Thank you, Counselor Hackett.
Awesome.
Thank you, Counselor Hackett. Okay, and all in favor? Oh, sorry, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, sorry.
How long do you have to post this for then?
This will go in the newspaper, I think it has to go in the first newspaper in February.
And then, is it posted anywhere around town?
No, we don't post it anywhere in the municipality, it's posted here at the office. And we've reached out to everyone that's on this list numerous times.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so I'll just ask all in favor. So that passes. So that brings us to Jordan Stackhouse. Is he with us now?
He is with us.
Is he with us?
Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
Here. Hello.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Nice to see everybody. Sorry, thank you. Sorry I haven't been there in person or not tonight, and I can't be for the town hall next week either, or sorry, on the 23rd. I'm just dealing with some medical treatment that I'm doing at the hospital here, but it should be over by March, but I'm just not able to travel right now. So but afterwards, I'm gonna be all over Watson Lake. You guys will see me lots, okay?
Okay, okay.
I'm actually not here to talk about Housing Accelerator. So, Councillor Slager, you can unplug your ears. I'm actually here to talk about strategic planning, and I know there's a couple new counselors really. So Billy and sorry, I'm not sure of your name. I apologize. Oh, great. I'm Jordan. Hi. But I'll just briefly, I was talking to Cam about this and he said, yeah, come to the council meeting and just talk to council and see what they think. And so back with so I've been working with the town of Watson Lake ever since Cam's hair was less gray and about 10 years or so. I've been working with the community in different kind of like aspects, and we have like a really great partnership. I enjoy really working with you guys. We've done a lot of great things in the community together. And basically like one of the roles I play is supporting council. It's evolved as you guys have gotten like more capable over the years and are able to do so much of the stuff that you had difficulties with before. But right now I'm in charge of managing the Housing Accelerator program for you guys, as well as what I wanted to talk to you about tonight was doing strategic planning. So with the last two councils, so going back to 2021, before that 2018, we had done I had facilitated strategic planning for council, and basically what that looks like is we kind of look at what's going on in the community, we look at the official community plan, we look at kind of all these things that impact the work we do and the decisions we make as counselors. Um, look at our bank accounts and go, holy crap, how are we going to do this stuff? And kind of figure out what are some priorities, what are some of the things that as a council like that we want to accomplish for the community. And we do this in order to stay focused, and even throughout our term that so many things come at us, right? And so many things change today, day to day, but that we have a sense of kind of like the direction we're going and where we want to end up and where we're headed and how we might get there. And that's really like at the essence of strategic planning for council. It's basically a roadmap. It's basically a consensus on what you guys want to accomplish together. So you're agreeing essentially to some priorities in the community. And for administration, it plays an important role too. They know what to expect from council. They know what council is looking for. And just for example, like if you have a gap in your guys' schedule where, maybe there's something, that we're a time where you're not as busy, then we have basically a whole number of priorities that we can action when the time is right, or when the resources align, or when the funding is available, and these type of things. And so that's really like what I would what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is to see if you guys were interested in doing something like that. It's probably about like a half day session. I think we could basically do it for like zero money. Like since I'm already like working on the housing accelerator, I would just kind of piggyback it on a trip I was already making to Watson Lake for the housing accelerator anyways. So there wouldn't be kind of like any cost really or anything like that to you guys to do it. And you know, it just in my experience, it just helps us get on the same page and kind of get our thoughts and feelings out. I think a lot of times we get elected and we're just drinking from the fire hose, like whatever's coming out, right? And you know, but at the same time, when you guys were elected, like you came in with like thoughts and ideas about what you wanted to do and what you wanted to accomplish. And I think this is the time to get those out on the table. It's also a good time to look at the OCP, which is your kind of strategic, like long-term document, and say, like, where are we at on this? And like, what are we doing? Are these things still priorities? And I can tell you the last council knocked off a lot of actions off the OCP. So I won't say I want to say like let's open back the OCP, but maybe that's something you guys want to accomplish in your term is do a midterm review of the OCP to make sure that you guys are still headed in the right direction. So that's really it. Sorry, I just got this notice from Cam that I was invited to the meeting late last week. So normally would have prepared a briefing note with like a little bit more information about it, but just kind of here freestyling tonight. And just kind of planting that seed with you guys. And so if you're into it and it's something you want to do, I'll just work with Cam to find a time when that could work. Probably sometime in February. Yeah, even though my treatment stuff isn't done until March, there are certain times I can travel. So just as long as I can kind of coordinate it. Yeah, it would be great to connect with you guys in that way. And we've seen success with it before. And that's basically all I have to say about that.
Well, thank you so much, Jordan. We certainly appreciate, well, I certainly appreciate the relationship that we've, developed with you over the years and all the things that you've done for us. That being said, I don't think that we're making that decision tonight, I think. Were you hoping that we would? Okay.
No.
So
All good.
we'll discuss it and then, yeah, I'll get back to you on that for sure. But thank you so much for that proposal. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I can follow up with just like some more information about what I on paper, just so you guys can read it and talk about it at your future council meeting. And then I'll see you guys. I'll join via Zoom at the town hall, give a thorough presentation on the housing accelerator stuff, and we can, if there's anything you guys want to see out of that presentation, just let me know too. And apologize I can't be there in person, but next time.
Sounds good. Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you so
thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will have a conversation about that soon. That brings us to the end of our agenda, so.
Sure, you have, council.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't adjourning yet. Except for a counselor open forum. So, who would like to start? Do you have anything for open forum tonight? No, I don't believe so. Okay. We can come back to you too if you want.
Sure.
Councilor Slager?
I asked all the questions during the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Webb?
I've been getting quite a bit of feedback for the town, people from the community asking about, how the hiring system works, and things like that. Like, are we a part of when somebody who is hired or?
No, so that's an O and M thing, so that falls under the purview of the CAO exclusively. There's a CAO bylaw that gives him that sole authority. Yeah.
And just for your record, your worship, all our hiring is laid out and very detailed under the union agreements that we have. There's steps that we have.
I just had quite a few people ask that.
So you can put them to the website and those bylaws are on there,
Okay,
giving him that authority. And there's probably,
The collective agreement is also on our
Yeah.
website, so it lays out our hiring process that we have to go through as well.
yeah, so you can direct them there or you can direct them
For sure.
to me or whatever. Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, no worries. Anything else for me tonight? Okay, awesome, thank you for that. Councillor Paquette?
I have a question about something that, from capital budget, so I'm gonna leave anything till later. I'll leave it till later.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Because we'll be having a lengthy conversation about that.
Yeah.
Anything else tonight?
No.
That's fine, okay. So I had a list that I started. Cam already touched on this, but just wanted to remind everybody about the Wildland Fire Community Meeting / Dinner on Wednesday, January 22nd. Hopefully everyone here will be there, and anybody in the Zoom gallery that I can't see right now. Hopefully you can be there because they're really counting on that input from the community. It's important. The very next night, we of course are having our Town Watson Lake Town Hall meeting to discuss the budgets that we just tabled, as well as the animal control bylaw and the, something else. What was the other thing? Housing accelerator fund, excuse me, thank you. So that's Thursday, January 23rd, so 2 nights in a row, hopefully we'll see a good turnout there. For counselors here, I just want to remind you that we should be thinking about AYC resolutions. For anyone who doesn't know, each year, AYC collects resolutions from its member communities, to put forward to the Yukon government for action. So, and there's a pretty specific process for that, which we will be probably talking about really soon, but just keep in your mind anything that you think that we would be worth bringing forward.
Have we ran into anything really contentious with, that would need to AYC?
Blaine, we think about, sorry?
Like, anything within our municipality that we, like,
Well, the long-term care thing perhaps.
okay,
I know that last year, we were talking already, we're kind of doing our own thing as far as the emergency preparedness, but there's a, resolution put forward by AYC last year about, Yukon government, leading the charge on, evacuation plans for communities. We didn't really get a adequate response from that. Few other ones, I don't have my notes in front of me unfortunately, but there's probably a few things.
infrastructure related, perhaps?
Yeah.
What about, didn't they drastically cut funding for firefighters? Does that affect us or does that affect Whitehorse?
Your worship, that is for the unincorporated, anything that falls under the jurisdiction of the fire marshal's office.
So the way it's being, reported in the media is unfortunately a little bit misleading because it makes people think that that impacts the incorporated municipality, so it's, but
It does.
it's still a big issue, and
Yeah,
it's
I
a
just
big
wasn't
deal,
sure if
but.
that actually affected our department or
No.
not.
Your worship, the only way it affects us is if there's, if the funding for the fire marshal's office is reduced, then that's less assistance that they can provide to us, like for investigations
So
and inspections.
maybe that's something that a resolution could be developed around, you know, it could be also, when we're looking at resolutions. Sometimes we, can partner with other municipalities as well, just, you know, if it's maybe impacting others in the same way. But I just wanted to mention it because it is time to start developing those and, it'd be nice, we didn't put one forward last year, so it'd be nice to, maybe come up with something this year too. It's also 50th anniversary, so I feel like it'd be nice for us to participate as much as possible. The last thing. Sorry, it's right in front of me. The last thing, just right before we started, Cam handed me this letter. We sent a letter to, Minister McPhee and CC'd it also to leader of the NDP and also leader of the Yukon Party regarding, long-term continuing care in Watson Lake. So we received a response back almost immediately from the NDP, so I was just gonna share that response with you guys. So this is dated January 10th. So it's to Mayor and Council. Thank you for your letter advocating for purpose-built long-term care in your community. We agree having space for community members to age in place in community is critical to the health of any community. We understand challenges that may exist in smaller communities, but Watson Lake is the 3rd largest community in the Yukon. Dawson City has access to long-term care with McDonald Lodge. It has 15 residential beds, including 2 respite beds. They offer light to moderate assistance and personal care with activities of daily living, intermittent monitoring, and professional care throughout the day, and home care nursing and home support services. Dawson City and Watson Lake have comparable populations and services. Both communities are viewed as service hubs and support smaller communities nearby. This letter is not a commitment to a facility that replicates McDonald Lodge, because I believe that any development going forward would be done in conjunction with the municipality and residents of Watson Lake, but an acknowledgement that your citizens deserve a place to age with dignity within your community. So in solidarity, Cape Way. So that was just nice to have that acknowledgement of the letter that we sent. We also requested in the same letter to the minister, a meeting, you guys will recall, or, Councilor Slager and Councilor Paquette will recall, when we met with the minister on Zoom last year, she did commit to meeting with us again, and has since been cricket, so, we have requested that, she come through on that commitment, so that is all for me for open forum. With that, I guess we will open it up for gallery open forum. And we only have Patrick in the gallery in person with us today. Did you want to say anything?
Actually, yeah, I was just
Okay.
curious about the AYC resolution, thing. Who are allowed to put inputs, in there, just for general community?
So the resolution comes from council. I suppose if you wanted to provide input, or if you had a suggestion, you could voice it now, or you could come to another council meeting, voice it, or we could just talk on the side as well if you.
So it will come through, it will always go through the, counselors and then,
Yeah, so it's the municipality putting forward a resolution, which gets voted on by the membership of AYC. And then if it's passed, then it gets sent to the Yukon government hopefully for action.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Excuse me, so the municipality could provide feedback to council in order for us to bring a resolution, would we?
Yeah,
Yeah, if somebody came up with something really good,
for sure, we could go.
and we would advocate for that, because if it's a great idea, it doesn't matter if it's a great idea, keep it.
Right,
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
so we would take feedback from.
Happily, happy to take that feedback. Encourage it.
Yes, in the past, there's been resolutions on the EMS have gone forward. Another one that Mayo put forward was that the government have APCO, or the rule that APCO doesn't charge demand charges to municipalities, because that's a major expense to all the municipalities for our power bills.
And I mean, looking at our O&M budget, that's almost something that should be revisited maybe.
Exactly, so those type of things, but most of the stuff that gets supported at AYC is based off of the impact of multiple communities, right? Like everybody can feel the crunch, so like say, those things are things that impact, but if there's something that is a hot ticket here that the other communities get on side with, then of course it goes to a vote with all the other municipalities to support. And then those resolutions go to Yukon government, and then they're supposed to respond back as to.
And sometimes we're successful, but sometimes it's just a box answer that we get. So, you know.
What do we got going on this summer for like water and sewers, streets, things like that?
Yeah, so this summer is the hard surfacing of Francis Avenue. Adela, Frank, Sakine, along with Tintina Way will be hard surface. And then there's all the deficiency work that's left over from last year's construction, or this.
Right, is there more tenders going out for that, or has that already been awarded?
That work was all awarded in the original thing. The only thing that's coming forward will be some of the hard surface work. And then there's other work which is under Department of Highways for active transportation. So there's gonna be work on intersections, more pedestrian crossings, pedestrian walkways. That stuff is coming out, and then it depends if, based on the capital budget, if we get approved for that Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, the money that we're putting in for
Jeff.
CHIF.
I'm just saying to you guys, cause there's only a few contractors in our community. And when you see all the work that went on last summer, none of our contractors, but there's nothing. We had the police come in today and say like how hockey's going now, crime is down, things like that. How do we get more work in our community and support our local contractors? Our local contractors get nothing. I'm not saying nothing against the town, it's great that we got good equipment, we got new equipment, we got all of this. But really, we've taken a lot of work away from local contractors that really depended on them. In a lot of ways, and I'm not saying anything bad, don't take it the wrong way. But we do have local contractors that are pretty much starving in our community, and when you see all these big guys come in and do all our work, it's kind of it's a kick in the butt. And it's not fair because we should be supporting our local contractors. We don't have that. We got no industry in our community, nothing. And you wonder why we got addictions and substance abuses and crime and vandalism. I mean, I seen it firsthand with just a little thing I did for the last year with a few guys, Denetia. Denetia is a huge one. Kid's completely turned his life around. Why? Because he's got a job. Josh, Morgan, I could go on, I could list about 7 or 8 kids that were living a terrible life. Which are going into like 2 years of sobriety. Full-time jobs, new houses, vehicles, skidooing, recreation. Somehow we gotta focus on this one. We need industry here in some way. Without industry, we're not gonna change what's going on. Honestly, I mean, and just something to think about. Maybe we can throw it around or at least let the contractors know that we're thinking about them. Or something. I'm a local contractor and I went and bought a dump truck many years ago. I approached the town. Look, I'm proud, I got a business license, I got a dump truck, I'm not the most outstanding citizen back then, believe me, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I walk out my door and holy man, there's lights flashing, and I see 2 big companies, dump trucks moving, snow removal, and I was told there was no snow removal. That's just it, I was proud of that. I wanted to get that dump truck working. The town kicked me in the nuts.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. Unfortunately, can't obviously speak for anything that
No,
happened
I'm
back
just
then,
using
but-
it for an example though, like, we really gotta start encouraging these guys to do this kind of stuff.
When did our chamber fold? When was the last time we did?
Last year.
Was it only last year?
Well, they folded last year, but they've been defunct for a while.
Mhm.
As a local contractor here, it's tough, man. It's hard, it's hard. You got highs, lows, highs, lows. I mean, just, and as a local contractor here, I never ever once felt that our community supported it in any way. I fought tooth and nail for every stick of cut block, every stick of wood, everything. I went around curbs, I went around every angle I could to keep my business afloat. And it's tough one. So when another younger generation, if someone comes up, I don't want them to have to fight the way I do. I want to be able to support them, maybe bring something good to the community, but we need jobs. Bottom line, there's nothing for anybody here. So where do we go from there? It's just throwing it out there.
It's definitely something we have to think about for sure. And I think, are we as a council, would we encourage a chamber? Would we talk to the businesses and ask them, is that something they want to start up again? I don't know if that's what role we would play in that.
I mean, I understand the importance of that. I don't
They're two
know.
separate things.
Yeah.
Council and chamber, they're supposed to be.
There's things coming up too, like this mechanical fire smarting and stuff like that, where they're gonna go and harvest trees and things like that. What are we gonna do with that? These are the questions I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna ask them, because there's a perfect opportunity if people
Awesome.
don't realize it, that just around this town, there's a 10-year supply of wood that's just gonna be fire smart. Get a small sawmill going. It doesn't have to be huge, but something small to create a few jobs. But you gotta have the support of the town, and I've tried it, I've never had support. And that's one of the reasons why I put my name in where I did, and it's not about it, but I'm gonna stand up for our community. That's why I'm not educated this shit, I don't, come on. Some of the best premiers we ever had were just working men, they had no goddamn education, Histachio, Benny, come on, man, they were just normal working men. You put this in front of Histachio, you'd laugh, I just. But John Histachio was one of the better ones in my mind. Okay? But
All right, I appreciate you saying all of that, and obviously we will have many conversations about all of these topics, but if you're good with it, I'd like to move on to the gallery, just so we can get through it, and
Yeah.
we will discuss, okay?
So your worship, you have Angela Miller.
Okay, so is that whose hands up?
Yes.
Okay, Angela, over to you, please.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. It's really too sad that I couldn't say this in front of the RCMPs as well. So we had a safety planning meeting today over at the Recplex. I do respect the fact that everybody's got day jobs and lives and all that kind of stuff. But while I was attending, I really noticed a lack of other entities at the meeting. Denegaw Justice was the lead for that meeting, and today was the third session that they've had. I think this is the fourth session. The first three sessions were held out in 2 Mile, I believe, in December, which after rereading the Facebook post, I realized that it was actually open to the whole community. So I was happy that everybody that came did come and had great input, but I was a little bit saddened to think that the town didn't attend and the RCMP officers didn't attend, because we're doing a community safety plan. So it's got to do with the whole community. And honestly, I think this is kind of one of the first kicks at the can where we all get to work together and come up with something that's viable for our community. I hear a lot of feedback from council, from RCMP, that there is a lot of issues. And I really think that the value of what we talked about tonight, it's very valuable to what we were talking about today. So it would be really nice if at some capacity we could get everybody together, because that is part of
Angela, are you one of the facilitators?
Sorry?
Are you one of the facilitators of that workshop?
No, it's actually led through Denegaw Justice, so that would be May Stewart. May Stewart was the one that got the presenters to come down. So basically what we've been doing the last 3 sessions is just kind of coming up with the needs, the wants, the issues, the priorities, all that kind of stuff. So tomorrow is actually going to be the presentation from our working groups as to what the group in a whole would like to see. But today I really felt like it was really great to have all those ideas and all those people around the table, but we were really lacking collaboration. And my position is to sort of get all the silos to start working together. And community safety is like a humongous issue. And I hear it from everybody. I heard it in council tonight. I heard it all day today from the folks I was sitting with. And I mean, I've even brought up the point today again. This is the second one that I've committed a day to. Was the fact that it's during the week and it's during working hours. And I know there's a lot of people in the community that would probably like to be at that table. And it was very much lacking community. It was very kind of not I won't say one-sided, but it was a very led by one group. And I think all of the groups need to come together. As Billy pointed out, there's a lot of stuff going on and we can't all just do it separately. We have to come together as a community. So tomorrow is our presentation of what we perceive our action plan to be. But I really would be sad if we had to unroll that action plan without the input of the rest of the community. So it would be really nice if somebody could show up to that tomorrow. I'm going to call the RCMP and request that somebody show up there tomorrow too, just so we're all kind of hearing the same thing, because that would be really good. So that,
Yeah, but again, Ange, I can let you know that we've had Tiffany Spin at the other meetings. Unfortunately, she's away today, this week, but we didn't get notified about the meeting until yesterday afternoon. And I've been booked up and my staff have been booked up in meetings. So unfortunately, we would have been there, but you know, it's this last minute notification stuff which is really affects us, right?
Because
oh,
we would
no,
also like to- we would also like to be a part of it, but it's just like you said, we have jobs and other things going on as well, so.
What time is it tomorrow, Ange?
it's literally all day again tomorrow. Now, I totally understand that you guys are time crunched and you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. I can respect and appreciate that 100%. I just feel like, and I even mentioned to the group, you know, like it would be really nice, because I know, like, even Billy personally has expressed to me that he wants to be at those types of meetings, but he can't be. And I get that. And I brought that to the group and I was like, we need to have some sort of a platform that people can express their concerns with the community, but even above and beyond the community response, we still need to get together as the town, as LFN, as Denaga, as, you know, De Ludena, as we all need to still work together on these issues, because it really affects everything. It affects the whole community. We're not separated by crime, right? That it happens to everybody, and tragedy. So, you know, these are things that we need to all kind of come together and sort of figure out who's got the strengths and what, and where we can pull from the community to make it a little bit of a safer place. We did talk a lot about like transition shelters, you know, men's shelters, that kind of stuff too. I mean, you know, and I even see the result as my position. I see the results of people's well-being just being housed. Right? Just getting somebody a place to be, somewhere to start, somewhere to end your day, somewhere to be private, your own space. Yeah, and it makes a world of difference to people. So housing is coming along, and so I'm not even going to push that envelope, but literally we still need to come together as a community to figure out how we can, you know, nip crime in the bud, because this is getting out of hand and we don't have very many people left. So we really need to do something. And I really hope that at least somebody that is sitting around this table tonight will show up at that meeting tomorrow, at least for the afternoon, for the presentation.
So, and I can give you a little background. The town, De Ludena and Liard First Nation actually met a long time ago to set up the community safety plan to work as a three-way partnership with the community. And Delu and the town signed an MOU to do it. Liard First Nation said they were gonna sign off and they walked away, and then now they've formed this group separately from the original group. But we've been attending, like I said, up until this one. But that work had been going on, and then the Liard First Nation decided to go it on their own. So we've been attending, but you know, we agree it needs, you know, that conversations need to be going on, but it needs to be in a cooperative atmosphere which suits the community as a whole.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like even the first 3 sessions that they had out in 2.5 Mile, I read the Facebook posts and everything, and I totally felt like I didn't belong there, just because of how it read. So I did make it clear today, that, you know, we can't use specific, you know, logos. We can't use, you know, the town logo or the LFN logo or the De Ludena logo or whatever. We can't do that. It's a community. And like, really, I got some, I noted that people had said, like, this is one of the first times that we've tried to be collaborative and, you know, work within the silos and stuff like that. And I appreciated that, because that's part of my sort of take on things too, is to get people to work together, right? And again, like it was a really good working group, but it really lacked a variety of community members. So I just really am passionate about it, and I really feel like it would be very important that I don't know politics. I'm not versed at, how things are supposed to flow. All I know is it didn't feel that great. So we need to make it feel great. We need it to be functional, and we need everybody to be on the same page. So that's that. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not going to, request anything. If that's something that you guys feel that you should attend, then great. It would be amazing to have people there, just because we need to do this, and we need to do it collectively. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave that there. Tomorrow, 9 to 4. Be amazing if everybody or anybody showed up, even for the afternoon.
What time's the presentation in the afternoon? What time does it start? Like, I'm swamped, but I'll try to at least make it for that presentation. And then, Ange, I appreciate you tagging me in that Facebook. But like I said, I'm sure it was 2 of me, and a little more notice, like 10 days or something, so you can plan it.
100%.
Yeah,
That's my biggest thing. It's all of a sudden, holy man, it's tagged, and I'm swamped. I'm working 18 hours a day, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, you guys. I really do, and that's why I'm not really holding your feet to the fire too bad. But I mean, again, if we can send even somebody from the town office or something over, just to get, or have some input or get feedback or whatever that looks like to you guys. Again, I'm not quite sure what that looks like to you, so it would be your thing. So, but it would be just really nice to have some input. And same with the RCMP. I'm going to call them probably in the morning and just see if somebody can attend maybe in the afternoon, just to, give some feedback and hear what we've been discussing, because it needs to be a community thing. So, so that's my my actionable plan for tomorrow anyway. So it would be nice if we could get somebody attending in the afternoon just to hear it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Whoever said that.
What time is that presentation at? Just so I got an idea, like right at 1 o'clock or 2 or.
You know what, Billy? If you showed up at, say, 2 o'clock, I'll let the presenters know that we've got somebody that's coming from council at 2, and maybe we can just curtail what our presentation looks like.
I'm gonna go to work right after I leave here, and if I can get done what I gotta do early enough, I'll show up as early as I can.
Well, you've got my number too, Billy, so just let me know if you can or can't.
I'll be there one way or another. If I'm not there at 2, I'll be there early.
Angela, I appreciate you going. Unfortunately, I have my days already scheduled for tomorrow. But is something that you could present to us at the interagency meeting? I would really appreciate that too.
You know what? I even said to the group, like, it would be maybe amazing if somebody could do some kind of a presentation maybe on the 23rd. Would that be
for the? Is this also something that people can zoom in? So like if people can't particularly attend the whole thing, I mean, at least if we can sit in our office and maybe zoom in for like an hour, is there a Zoom component to this?
That I like how it all worked today. A Zoom component wouldn't have worked because we had 3 working groups going. So, I would have to say I really don't know, but I feel like there would probably be too much cross talking for a Zoom meeting to even, for you to even hear. So I don't know that. I could ask in the morning, though.
But if you have presentations happening, is there any capacity at that time?
That I really don't know that. May Stewart would know that. She's the one that's leading the presentation. So she would know that, but there was no Zoom or computers or anything like that there today. So I don't know if we're capable of it. But
well, maybe sometimes just a couple hours in the evening or something. I know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, even if somebody could potentially record the presentations that you guys are having, then people can listen to it later, even if they're not able to attend. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
If that's an option, even if you maybe had your phone and you and you put it out there when people were talking. And then you could put it on Facebook or something, and then people could at least hear that. Maybe I'm just putting that out there to use technology, and then at least we can sit and listen at our desks if that's what, I mean, I'm happy to listen if I had something that I could listen to later on. Okay.
Yes,
good to
like a
know.
live
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you,
I
everyone.
just,
Thank you so much, Angela, appreciate it.
Well, I just had one more thing to ask. So does the town put out the surveys and stuff on their website and or the tenders for people to look at?
Tenders are on the website always.
The which are, sorry?
The tenders are on the website always.
Okay.
The submissions are,
The
the
bid,
submissions are not public.
Yeah, no, but the tender would be public, so anybody could bid on or whatever. So people would know to bid. Okay.
Yeah,
And
they're on the website and they can have them around town as well.
okay, and I'm sorry to go back to this, but again, we can't talk till the end. So, where does the town put out like the surveys, like for the park? Because I don't think I saw any survey or got a survey in my
There
mailbox.
was a link, sorry, are you talking about sorry, which part?
I'm just bringing up the park. I'm just bringing up the park because it was relevant for today. So I'm just asking, like those surveys, are they actually posted on your websites?
they go on the website, they're done through SurveyMonkey, and then there's a link also on Facebook.
Okay, I must have missed that one for sure. So I'll watch for them in the future. And that is everything. Thank you guys very much and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Here. So, next up, who wants to go next?
You only have one hand up, your worship, and then Zach.
Oh, okay, sorry, Zach, from Lubin.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Good, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly chime in here. I don't want to take any more of your time. My name, yes, is Zach. I'm with Blue Imp Playgrounds. I was one of the interested bidders, and just wanted to kind of just get my name out to the individuals who don't know me. Some of you do. I have been to Watson Lake myself, and basically what I want to get across tonight is our bid submission is more than just the playground. We pride ourselves on locality. The gentleman who is speaking about local contractors and struggling with that in Watson Lake, Billy, I believe your name is. What we do when we install our playgrounds is we actually do hire local contractors. Skylar Hogan is our installer, who most of you know. He is from Watson Lake. And I, again, just basically wanted to get out and get to the point that we are also a fourth generation manufacturing company in Medicine Hat, Alberta. The price difference between us and the lower bid, I really can't speak to what they use for materials. That equipment is made down in Pennsylvania, more particular Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. So I can't really speak toward that, but the biggest thing I want to get across to everyone tonight here is we strive to hire local contractors for these jobs, whether it's for Watson Lake, Yellowknife, or Whitehorse, Dawson City, whether we're going to Carcross, wherever. We always strive on hiring local contractors. So what I am trying to get across here is I hope we can reconsider the evaluation. If there's anything you need from myself personally, to whether that's better compete with whatever Play Envy had done, I am more than open to that. And like I said, I have a personal relationship with some of you, Chris, Cam, yourself. I've met you a couple times at the AYC conference. Blue Imp also sponsors the Linda Rapp Memorial Award at that AYC conference, and we actually just submitted our sponsorship today for the conference in Haines Junction coming up here at the end of April. So that's basically what I wanted to get out tonight. I have a lot of pride and joy in putting that bid together for the town of Watson Lake, because I personally, again, visited the community. I really enjoyed my time. And of course, I'm joined in all night here tonight when nobody else really was. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And again, I hope we can kind of review those submissions one more time, knowing the local, I'll call it, touch on it. And whatever decision is made, I definitely will respect it in the end. So thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Your worship, there is no one else that has their hands up for gallery.
Okay, so there being no one else for gallery open forum, that brings us to adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Councilor Slager. I'll second that. Councilor Paquette. All in favor? Okay.